Hey guys, it's Sarah. I am going to be going over an article written in Bitcoin Magazine by our good friend Shinobi, and he published this just a few minutes ago. I have not read it yet. It's called Lightning is Doomed, a reality check on the limitations of the Lightning Network and what that means in terms of its long-term viability. So I'm just going to go through this and just comment on what I am reading. He says, no, it's not doomed, but it probably won't be used the way you expected it to be. Well, let's see about that. High fees from ordinals have killed all hope of scaling Bitcoin non-custodially. There is no chance at all that people will be able to cost-effectively open channels or enforce hung payments on-chain when necessary. Well, I for one really like hung payments, if you know what I mean. But that aside, this is a weird way to open. He is assuming that ordinals are going to be around forever, and for what it's worth, it's not ordinals that are causing the high on-chain environment we are experiencing. It's people inscribing JSON data. That is not the same as ordinals. That is a common misconception. They are both stupid and spammy and scammy. However, that's not what's happening. So we're already kind of in a weird place. Cost-effectively open channels. It depends on how much value you're putting in that channel. If I'm opening $1,000 equivalent channel and paying $5 for the open, that's not bad. Especially if I plan to do thousands of payments in that channel. But as usual, he might be being sarcastic here. So if he is being sarcastic, he says, it's all over, pack it all up, guys. Time to start shopping around and deciding whether Coinbase or Cash App is a better platform for all of our Bitcoin needs now that we can't afford to do it directly on-chain in a high-fee environment. This sounds sarcastic. I don't know if he's being sarcastic. Let's read on. It was fun while it lasted. We'll always have the pixelated dick pics on the Lightning art site, the Lightning Torch meme, blah, blah, blah. We'll still have zapping. Okay, he seems to be super sarcastic here. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, if you took any of that seriously on any level, go look at yourself in the mirror and then slap yourself in the face. Okay, so yeah, he was opening very sarcastically. Great. All right, clearing the gaslighting fumes. Okay, so he talks about the white paper here a little bit. There's an entire section in the white paper called Risks. Yeah, the Lightning Network white paper is pretty long. That spells out all the major problems people think means Lightning is doomed because of high fees. The first section of the paper discusses time lock windows. This is essentially the dynamic of fee rates versus confirmation time that has become a large concern lately. When you route a payment over the network, you define a success path based on a hash lock pre-image and a clawback path based on the refund time lock window. If fees get higher, that time lock window needs to be longer to guarantee that a pre-image spend or the transaction succeeded doesn't fail to confirm before a refund transaction becomes spendable. Okay. So he is talking about once the channel is open, he's talking about the dynamic commit fee rates here. So how much sats in the channel needs to be on reserve for a channel closer based on current mempool fee rates. If you have to confirm a successful payment on-chain, the time lock on the refund path has to be long enough that you can confirm the successful payment path before your channel counterparty can claim the funds through the refund path. How long that time lock window has to be increases the higher fee rates get, correct? Because the transaction fee decided ahead of time for pre-signed channel closure transactions can be too low to confirm as fast as you expected when you signed them. Yeah, so he's talking about if you broadcast a forced closure commit transaction, there's a wait period before the funds actually show up on chain. He says many people are freaking out and losing their shit over this dynamic as if it is some new realization and it spells the doom of the Lightning Network. This was literally described as a risk in the original white paper, specifying the first version of the Lightning protocol. Yeah, he's definitely right about this. This isn't new, at least it shouldn't be new. This is a very basic knowledge point of how the Lightning Network works, and it's actually a security thing. It's actually a good thing, yet people are mad about it. It's very odd, so I agree with Shinobi so far. He says it explicitly even described the opportunity cost trade-off from an economic point of view. Quote, there is a trade-off between longer time locks and the time value of money, end quote. Yep. Okay, continuing on. This next section is called Forced Expiration Spam. It describes the general concept of the flood and loot attack. This is a very common attack that people are talking about, but has never actually happened to my knowledge. But the idea is, he writes, an adversary opening a large number of channels and closing them all at once on chain, specifically to take advantage of the fact that if the fee rates got too high, refund transactions could have a chance at double spending success path transactions if something needed to be enforced on chain. If you have a bunch of channel opens, if you have a bunch of channels open with payments in mid-flight and you close them all at once and drive fees up high enough, then every channel counterparty who has to confirm a successful payment on chain could find themselves in a double spend race if the fees are driven up high enough to let the time lock transaction become valid before the successful one with the pre-image is confirmed. Okay. But this is all new information. The Lightning Network is doomed. Yeah, this is weird so far. Like, we already knew all this stuff. So he says, well, I guess we could just admit historical context is lost. Yep, so he's being sarcastic again. I remember years and years ago, a large contingent of Bitcoiners screaming the blockchain itself was hitting scaling limits, that it would fail unless we fundamentally altered the entire nature of the decentralization trade-offs of the system. Blockchains were fundamentally useless if people couldn't directly submit all of their transactions on chain and have them cost effectively confirmed. So he's alluding to the block size war of I don't know, any time between 2017. Sorry, anytime before 2017. The entire foundation of Bitcoin was rocked to its core when people started arguing over the cost-effectiveness of the blockchain at scale. Yeah, he mentions the block size war here. What was at the core of this disruption? Well, people expected that the role of the blockchain would be to play in the puzzle of Bitcoin's evolving ecosystem. Everyone is going to buy their coffee on-chain, where Bitcoin is a total failure. Yeah. The problem was so well known that there was actually a good deal of debate years ago about a solution called packet size payment if an HTLC is too small. Yeah, so Shinobi seems to just be kind of going through what most of us already know, which is the Lightning Network has trade-offs. Go figure. All these issues people seem to think means the sky is falling are issues well understood from the very beginning of Lightning. This begs a question, were we wrong again? Yeah, so I see what Shinobi's point here is. Shinobi's point is that the people screaming from the rooftops about Lightning is doomed do not even understand the basics of Lightning, and this seems to be normal. You don't see anyone running a fairly effective routing node or something that is complaining. Really. It's just people that don't use Lightning that is complaining, which is really interesting, actually. Like, don't they have anything better to do? It's weird. Shinobi continues, not wrong in the sense that Lightning is a doomed dead end, but wrong in the sense that Lightning is not going to be used long-term in the way we thought it was initially, just like the blockchain itself. We already see Lightning dominated by custodial applications, and people are working on deploying things specifically designed to sit on top of Lightning, such as eCash mints, Uncle Jim setups like LNaddress. You have a custodial account on someone else's Lightning node. We even have proposals like ARC being built out. Proof of concept. Yeah, I do agree with this. Not everybody is going to run a Lightning Network node, obviously. Not everybody is going to manage channels, obviously. the Lightning Network seems to be evolving in a way where it will be a settlement network between entities that have reason to settle payments, and then other protocols and applications will be built on top of these entities. I do agree with as this is the way we are going. Now, the big question is, are we going to be going in a direction of something like a small community-based system, such as Fediments, or are we going to be just going into huge hub custodians? I really think that it's going to be the former. We're going to have the ability to use eCash and Fediments and all that, and then we can sort of remove it from the mint as needed if we want to, or add to the mint. And what's really cool about that is it is a competition, and if you don't like the current mint you're in, take your money and go somewhere else. And if a mint gets tons of bad reviews, nobody is going to go to that mint anyway. I think the incentives might play out in a really good way as we move through the coming years on the Fediment front. Anyway, Shinobi continues, what if Lightning isn't going to be the killer protocol that consumers directly interact with in order to make their payments online? What if, just like the blockchain itself, it simply winds up being a piece of a settlement layer that other things are built on top of? And that's what I was just saying. Lightning is proving definitively right now that it can function as a layer for interactivity between different custodians, and that it works smoothly and very effectively for that. True. There's no reason at all Lightning cannot function as a similar connectivity layer for other layer 2s that have superior trust models than an explicit custodian. If channels are not something individuals can cost-effectively have for their daily spending activity, that doesn't mean they are not cost-effective for Lightning service providers who run new protocols in addition to Lightning to link between each other, allowing their users to interact with each other. Other ideas are building. It can be a translator layer for other systems. Yeah, so I agree with Shinobi. This was a good little write-up to remind us all that this is constantly evolving and the use cases are constantly evolving. The use case that we originally thought it might be, it might not be, but that doesn't mean it's completely useless. And the people who do not understand the Lightning Network just want to throw it out completely. And that's very strange, as I said. So, yeah, overall, I get the point Shinobi's getting at here. And we will continue to build. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.